You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to break down the Bulls game against the Miami Heat going down tonight. We're also going to ask the question, who are the Bulls really? And we're going to talk about a United Airlines offer to DeAndre DeRozan. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, man, can the Bulls do it again, bro? Like, this is a game against Miami. I'll tell you what, I'm not nearly as worried about this game per se as I was against the Toronto Raptors, just because of how that matchup plays out. And not necessarily just because of us being 3-0 against them this season, but I don't know, man, seeing the Miami Heat and how they played in that first playing game, they look very, very mortal right now, bro. How you feeling?
That's the reason why I think we're all nervous, right? Like, there's so much about them where it's like, it looks like the Bulls should beat them. They probably won't, right? Like, that's what we have to look forward to. I mean, listen, the Bulls, this would be the first time all season the Bulls will have won 4 games in a row. This would be the first time all season the Bulls have 4-0'd a team, right? Because we swept Miami 3-0, only played them 3 times. We'd have to beat them now 4 times in a season. The Miami Heat looked awful, looked very mortal in their first game in the play-in, and now they come into a game versus us where we looked like world beaters in the second half of the basketball game versus Toronto. Okay, now Bulls fans are on a high, right? Like, we are the person who's been abused the entire time, but feels like maybe it's not gonna happen this time, right? Like we're that kid that just like, every time he goes to the same spot, gets like punched in the face growing up. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, maybe they won't fight me this time. Nope, the fight's still gonna happen. You still got to take these hits. Yeah, I mean, like, we're abused, we're battered. I think that the Bulls can win. I think that the Bulls are good enough to win this game. I think that the Bulls actually have the right mindset to win this game. And I'm still nervous because it's Jimmy Butler in a 1-game playoff, because it's they got Victor Oladipo, who can go off on us for sure,
or score or get a single triple.
Who knows? They got Kevin Love, who we watched torch us on Cleveland for years now with that stupid pull-up 3 that always goes in at the top of the key. Yeah. I mean, like, there's so many pieces on this team that I look at and I'm just like, it's like they got a collection of dudes that are like the Bulls kryptonite together, and they just put them on the court. So, like, I get the nerves. I get the confusion. I get all of it. I do believe the Bulls will win, but there's always going to be that, maybe.
And here's the thing. Jimmy Butler, of course, we know what Jimmy Butler can do. We know he can go on a different level and lock in. Eric Spoelstra, being the coach on the other side as well, has his own set of concerns, one of the better X's and O's coach in the league. But I'm looking at 2 players specifically, Tyler Hero and Max Strus. Yep. Those are the players that I'm looking at, because Bulls and how they give up 3-pointers at times, those are 2 players that I'm just looking at and saying, listen, if they both go off, it's going to be a tough night. If only one of them goes off, I think at that point we can still overcome that. You need to look out for that. So, and then the Bam Vooch matchup too is something to look at. This game, Vooch, I think, fared pretty well against the Miami Heat in the 3 games this season. But again, it's difficult to beat a team that many times in one season, and the Bulls have not been able to win 4 games in a row for the whole season. So I don't want to go in like overly confident, and then to like, I just don't know, bro. I trust the team. I like the way that they play with heart. It does seem like they're riding out a bit of confidence. And I tell you what, if Zach LaVine goes into another mode like he did last game, where it's like, no, we're not losing tonight. Yeah. It's like that separates this team, and we're going to need the big defensive performances. We hopefully won't get outworked on the rebounds. Like, we won a game in which we got out-rebounded by 14, bro. That is wild.
Yeah, we're not built to go up against that team,
Yeah.
right? Like we're not built. When you go with the small ball mentality, you have to do what the Bulls did, like just have a ridiculous defensive second half and shoot the ball crazy, or have one player shoot the ball at a crazy level, like Zach LaVine was able to do. I I don't know, bro. Like I go into this game, and the logical part of me says that they don't have enough to beat us. But
That's
that
fair.
also depends on which Chicago Bulls team shows up, right? Like realistically, when I break this down, I'm looking at, okay, we're probably more than likely going to get why can't I think of my boy name? Cody.
What? Kobe? Wait.
No, not on the Bulls. Oh boy, they be running out there point. I'm sorry, not Cody. Caleb Martin.
Oh,
probably
Caleb.
gonna get Caleb Martin out there. Defensively, good on ball defender. Probably have him guard either DeMar or Zach. You got Jimmy guarding the other one. That's the tough part. Then you got Bam on Vooch. I think that whoever's got Caleb Martin has to be the guy that's taking the most advantage, because I feel like, right, like Jimmy Butler's going to be able to lock in on one of these guys. He's got a really good defensive skill set that goes to what the Chicago Bull, or whichever one, DeMar or Zach, want to do, right? He's a very good on-ball defender, watches his back well, not going to be able to catch him in a ton of pump fakes, all that stuff, because he does a lot of that stuff himself. So that's whoever has Caleb Martin on him, to me, I think that's the guy that needs to really be the focal point. And then it's about the other guys. Listen, Kobe White had a heck of a second quarter there. That kept the Bulls in the game, I should say. Right, P. Will. I talked about this the other day. Like, he didn't knock down a lot of shots, but he sure created a lot of open looks for himself. Got to knock him down. At some point, I'd love to see those shots start to fall, but man, he created a lot of open looks for himself. For once, I actually feel like the Bulls bench depth is deeper. I feel like there's so much more that I look at with the Bulls, and I'm like, yeah, this might actually work.
Did you say they run Caleb Martin at the point guard?
No, I said the power forward.
Oh,
They run a small ball. Maybe I did say the point guard.
I think you may slip. That was threw me off. I'm like, wait a second, my
Oh,
brain
no.
is
No, I meant to say power forward. I'm sorry if I said point guard.
No, you're good.
They literally run a small ball lineup.
They run the Chicago Bulls lineup.
So like, again, right? We match up really well against them.
Yeah,
It makes me nervous.
Technically, I mean, Jimmy Butler's been starting at power forward for them. So like
power forward. And that's like when they put the the starting lineups on the screen on ESPN, and they put DeMar at the power forward and Caruso at the 2. And I was like, y'all don't know what's going on here in Chicago, my boy. Caruso starting this game on Siakam.
That's hilarious, bro. Yeah, I mean, hey, the good thing about this game is that, like you said, we don't have those huge matchups. Like Billy can play a small ball and then not come in with like a huge deficit, at least not on paper. And we don't have to worry about anybody being Speaking of barbecue chicken, we didn't talk about the Kyle Kuzma completely obliterating Spencer Dinwiddie.
Oh man, we
Bro,
did. Yeah. Hey, listen, the stocks are down, baby. The stocks are down. He tried to come back at it too and randomly took a shot at Rick Fox.
Yeah, I saw it.
Like Rick Fox catches strays now, like from Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, I don't know what's going on here, man. I don't know what's going on here. That man Kuz was cooking on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out there. Somebody said Kuz couldn't have wrote that. I was like, I don't know. It was like, I feel like somebody wrote. They said Kuz used Chat GPT out here right there.
Maybe he did. Listen, we ghostwriting tweets now. I don't care. That tweet was, that mug was hilarious, bro.
I'm about to try that.
He said, I watched you be the second on the team and average 8, 4, and 4. I was like, wow.
Hey, and then he said, hey, yes, I am gonna get the bag this offseason. Hey, bro. Hey, straight bars, bro. When he said the only way you'll ever be worth your contract is if they pay you in crypto like you want. I was crying, dog. I'm talking about I was laughing hard. Then he said, go Sixers. Watch you end up on the Sixers next year just because of that tweet, bro.
That is
They're going to move on from Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker and be like, Kyle, we got room for you.
No, that has nothing to do with Bulls, bro, but that's living in my head rent free, bro. That was a hilarious rant on Twitter.
Damn, that man was great.
Yeah. Shout out to that. But to get back into the game, so the one thing, like, do you think is this a game in which do we see the balance between DeMar and Zach come back? Where Zach kind of leads the way scoring and DeMar helps finish the game off, or do you think this may be a game? I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the potential matchups, and I think DeMar may very well go off. If they have the balls to keep Max Strus on DeMar DeRozan most of this game,
yeah,
DeMar can get to cooking this game.
I wouldn't put Strus on him. I would put either Martin or I would put Jimmy on him.
Well, Martin's going to be coming off the bench because everybody's healthy.
I'd still start Martin.
I mean, no, that makes sense. I'm not saying
I
what
would
you're
still
saying is
start
wrong,
Martin, and I think that's that's the starting lineup they went with for their first playing game versus Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. I think they started Caleb Martin over Strus in that. So the starting lineup was Kuzma. Good Lord, we said Kyle Lowry. Who listen, I hate to say this, right? But the man just dropped 30. Maybe he's a factor. Hey, Pat Bev, don't get cooked. No, please don't let Kyle Lowry cook you at least. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I every time, I'm not going to say nothing about Lowry because every time I say something about Lowry, this man has like the greatest game in the world against us. But if he plays like that, it's going to be a long night because he was knocking down that 3 ball at a high level.
Yeah, it looks like in the Heat's first playing game. No, Caleb Martin did come off the big. Gabe Vincent started. Yeah,
that's who I said Caleb Martin. Gabe Vincent is who I've been thinking
Gabe
about
Vincent.
this whole
okay,
time.
See, listen.
Gabe Vincent is who I've been thinking about this whole time.
We all don't look alike.
hey, nah, not for here. Not for here. We're going to get canceled. They're going to be like, we know he black, but it's a little bit too.
We're going to move right along. Next thing we're going to talk and ask the question, who are the Bulls really? Because Pat got some stats that he pulled that we're going to break down and talk about and have some fun with. I think we're going to have some fun with it.
I think we're going to have some fun with it.
Yeah, before we get into that, we got to talk about this is sponsored by Nissan. Nissan's most electric player of the week is brought to you by the all-new, all-electric 2023 Nissan Aria. And so I don't know about you, Pat. Player of the week is a person who never hit the court, but the impact was felt. DeMar DeRozan is the Nissan electric player of the week for me. How about for you, brother?
Hey man, you watch the NBA what is it? Not NBA TV, whatever it is, straight NBA League Pass a lot, right? Don't they always got that stupid thing at the beginning where they're like, it's the GOAT. Yeah. She got to be the GOAT. She got to be the GOAT, greatest of all fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. She dominating out here. 36 for 18. She got Raptors fans in their feelings. They sitting at home listening to Drake. Can you imagine being a Toronto Raptors fan and going back and listening to Drake? I mean, and being even more in your feelings? That's crazy.
Listening to Drake in general is just like depressing, but you know, it is what it is. So, I mean, but really,
Drake catches strays. What did Drake do?
Oh, you didn't know? You got to listen to the hip hop podcast more.
I know. I know.
Drake all the time. Electric, brilliantly fierce, fiercely elegant, stunningly powerful. That voice was definitely powerful, elegantly powerful. The 2023 Nissan Aria packs pin to your seat power at a premium intelligence all-in-one EV. The all-new, all-electric 2023 Nissan Aria, the EV for people who love to drive. Shop now at nissanusa.com. Hey, the fact that people really do buy cars off the internet now is wild to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like they don't even see it. Like you just get it shipped to you. I got to test drive it, bro. I couldn't imagine. But
I mean, if it's brand new.
Oh,
like,
if it's brand new, yeah.
I
think I'm more so
like,
thinking
I don't know.
Thinking
if you get a used car off the internet, you're a wild boy.
Hey, listen, you deserve whatever happens.
You're a wild boy, bro.
But
that John pull up crazy.
Pat, this is your segment, man. We talked about this a little bit offline, and man, you came up with some stats and just kind of looking at what the Bulls have been kind of since the All-Star break. Let's go ahead and go over it.
So it's the topic of what are the Bulls really? A lot of times with most other teams, right? We look at how they played since the All-Star break and we say that's who the team really is. Good to see them work themselves into shape. We don't do that a lot with the Bulls because we're so locked in. Sometimes we're game by game. We're very narrow viewpoint of the moment. Not just Bulls Nation. Even me and Haize do the same thing because we got to break down each game. And it'll be like, hey, they look great. Wow, they look terrible. I want to get a wide spectrum of what is this team really? And since the All-Star break, the defensive numbers won't shock us that much, right? 111.9 defensive rating, second best in the NBA, only behind Boston by 0.3. Boston right now is a 111.3 defensive rating. Offensively, The Chicago Bulls are a 117.4 rating, which is 16th best in the NBA. Now, that may sound like, yeah, Pat, 16th best. That's not good. When you think about where the Bulls were.
Yeah. We've been the number one defense in the league since the All-Star break, right?
Up and down, depends on, right? Like it depends on, I don't know if maybe they took into account the playing game stats, even though they don't count. Last night, I don't get it. I don't get it. The games just don't count. It's weird. But the fact of that is too, right? The Boston Celtics, right? When you start to look at the list, the Boston Celtics are a 119.4. They're not that far off from literally one of the teams we talk about in being a top team in the East, possibly being a championship contender. The other thing that was a big change, because then I had to break down, okay, well, why are these numbers changing so drastically? By the way, drastic changes from from pre-All-Star break to post-All-Star break. Why are these numbers changing? Well, since the All-Star break, Zach LaVine has looked more like Zach LaVine. 27 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. I'm sorry, 5 assists, 3.5 rebounds. He's taken 20 plus shots 9 times in 22 games. In that same amount of games, DeMar DeRozan has only done it 5 times. DeMar DeRozan has taken a backseat role offensively to Zach LaVine the second half of the season. Some games, DeMar only taking 15 shots per game. It seems like, and I know this may sound again like we're just trying to force the Pat Bev effect, that when Pat Bev showed up, a leader was established, and it was not DeMar DeRozan. And in that time, the Chicago Bulls have not only been a top, I mean, literally within a 0.2 of being a top 15 offense, they have been the best defense in the NBA. And so I ask you, what Chicago Bulls team is the real team that we're seeing? Because that team there has gotten us 10 out of 12 on the road in our last 12 games. That team there has beaten the best in the NBA 3 times in that span. They lost to Milwaukee. And there's still, listen, I'm not saying that that's a perfect story. I'm not saying that's a perfect game. I'm not telling you that there's not things that need to be added. I think that what we think needs to be added may be significantly less. And as much as people may hate to say it, AK may not be that far off from being right.
Well, okay, here's and for the nature of conversation. So it's since the All-Star break, that's a condensed amount of time, right? And even then, we still have had up and down. Yeah, the stats are good. The stats tell you part of the story, but I still do look at this team and I don't know. To me, it still does seem like I don't. And you're not making the conversation. You're not making the argument that we don't have to make any changes. So I want to be clear on that. That's not
we
what you're
have
making
to
at
make
all.
changes.
Yeah, we
100%.
have to make changes. But I still look at this team and say, well, hey, we need to know what happens with Vooch. We got to figure out something with DeMar, because even if DeMar does stay and we do hold on to DeMar, well, fine. If you can balance out that roster, you still have to have something in the wings, because DeMar, he has way more time behind him than in front of him on this Chicago Bulls roster. So I still think for that, you have to start preparing for that, and that may bring bigger changes. But I get what you're saying, and I agree with you that the Bulls have been a much improved team. I think that if even the things that have been bad since the All-Star break, they're magnified just by how bad the start of the season was.
Yes.
So we just carry that baggage forward. But the Bulls have been a drastically improved team, and the Pat Bev effect is real. You can say what you want. Nobody's blaming it all. It's the combination of the Pat Bev effect and the fact that Zach LaVine is finally healthy again, too, I think.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like, that's the part where I think a lot of the stuff we view as excuses when they are major things, right? Like Zach LaVine starting off the season poorly. He literally said he didn't feel like himself. He said it took him months to start feeling like himself again. Oh, well, it's your job to be on the court and make plays. Yes, it is, but it's very hard to do if I don't feel like me, if I don't trust my knee going to the bucket. And since pretty much right before the All-Star break, I think maybe 2 or 3 games, right, where he started to really get himself back in the rhythm. That's the time where you saw him start moving people out of the way, saw the strength on display. I mean, he almost killed Jacopo last night. Like, it was pretty hilarious how he just went through that man. And he's not small. You know, I feel like, right, like there is if the Boston Celtics had done this, and they kind of did, but it was a much higher, you know, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It makes it a little better. But if another team in the Eastern Conference had made this kind of leap, we would look at it and we would be like, wow, that's a heck of a second half of the season. They really did what they needed to do. I think that they're turning things around. And I think because sometimes it's our team, we don't look at things that way because we want to see this major change because the start of our season was crap. The fact that the end of our season wasn't, I think we might need to look at it. And the thing to me is, right, like blowing this up, starting all over. This team is trash. They're not going to win any games. That doesn't get you closer to the goal.
Yeah.
Are we one more shooter away from being the team we think about? Does that get us to a 119 offensive rating while maintaining the defense? Are we 2 shooters away? Are we 1 shooter and a big man away? Right? Like these are things that can be attained in an offseason, and you can actually add to the team that you have. That's the real question mark that you have to figure out here. Are you simply finding the right point guard away? But I don't think that we are 3-4 players away from being a top team in the Eastern Conference.
3-4, like, I mean, you kind of had this conversation. I think 3-4 role players away. I think we are major. Like, I don't know. It really depends on the makeup of the roster. I mean, really, when it all boils down to it, what you said, 1 shooter and a big man away, we just need to bring Cristiano Felicio and Denzel Valentine back. We're good. That's all.
Oh no! Stacey King ended that man's career. Stacey King, I'll maintain that till I die. Stacey King ended that man's career, bro. Man had a nice little run going, bro. Was bringing the Bulls back. Shot that half court heat. That man said, "Oh no!" Hey, we never saw Denzel Valentine in another NBA game again. He thought about checking in Cleveland one time, and the overhead announcer played that mug over the loud board. Oh no! He just sat back down, bro. It was crazy.
They did that for real?
They did, but that'd be a while. That'd be a while. Hey, talk about your confidence shot for the rest of your life, bro.
Man,
hey, shout out! I will say this: shout out to Chris Dunn getting his way back into the NBA,
bro, yeah,
and playing a real role out here. Well,
and being effective in that role.
They have the playoffs now, but still. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought that those numbers were interesting. I want Bulls fans to. I know we have our hate and our ire, but take a step back and look at the second half of this season for real. Second half, right? It's 22 games.
Yeah.
And assess everything you saw, assess the adjustments, and comment below and let us know, right? Like, do you think that change actually happened, or do you think, oh, well, it's just a fluke? They got excited because Pat Bev showed up.
There you go.
Let us know. Hey, before we move into this final topic where we got to talk about the offer that United Airlines has made to Bulls Nation. Did you know that they were part of Bulls Nation? Crazy.
Bro, come on. Like, Ramita got to take the L on that one, bro. That was hilarious, bro.
I love Ramita, man. Shout out to you. Hey, if you're looking for a delicious snack, then I need y'all to tune in. With Built Bar, y'all already know what Built Bar is bringing. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, but don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you, Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. Seriously, dog, they're so good. I am a fan of the churro puff. I mess with the peanut butter brownie. I mess with the cookies and cream. And the best part about it, they're all covered in 100% real dark chocolate. I don't know how Built does it, but the bars taste phenomenal. They only got 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, a whopping 17 grams of protein. Bro, you know how you catch something out the corner of your eye? One of my sockets fell over and started rolling. I thought it was a mouse. I was about to lead a mess out of this mug. That's right. Head to the nearest Walmart today. Walk to the pharmacy section. Grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box, cookies and cream, double chocolate, the double chocolate bar, or the coconut puff, or if you buy Sam's Club, get a 13-bar box of the brownie batter puff and churro puff. You can thank me later. Get in tune with them over at Built, man.
All right, last topic of the day, Pat. American Airlines has offered to fly DeMar DeRozan's daughter to Miami so she can be at the game. That's how important DeMar DeRozan has come to the Bulls playing stretch. How do you feel? What? Hey, Is DeMar tripping for making her go to school? What do you think, bro? Made a huge impact in the first playing game.
Here's what I'll say, right? To me, this is the I would love to have her there. I would love to have her there just for the vibe of it. I think the team would rally around her. I think DeMar's kind of like me when they be like, bring little mama on the live call. Like, y'all not using my daughter as a good luck charm, bro. Like, get out of here, you weirdos. Like, you're not using my kid as a good luck charm. But what I will say is this. I don't know if it'll work again. Right? It worked because Toronto just was so unprepared for it. Like, it was such a like, what the heck is that? I don't think it would work in Miami. And then you got to deal with DeMar DeRozan probably getting into it with Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler is going to like knock down 2 free throws and like blow a kiss to his kid, being like, hey, it's not going to work on me. And then DeMar's going to get in his face. Then it's going to be a thing. Do we really want to go that far? Have her in the building. First off, anything to get a kid out of school. I remember being a kid. What are we doing here? Dad, you playing in the playing tournament, bro? Like, come on, dog. I can't come see you. Like, I love you, Pop. Like, what's going on? I can't come check the game out. And is United flying her first class? Because I think that would be that'd be good to see. I don't even think the Bulls fly first class. I don't even know. Do the Bulls have a team playing?
Yeah, they have a team.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just them and their media. But man, listen, as the father in me, and the fact that school is almost there's 6 weeks of school left. You mean to tell me you can't miss a Friday to come support a win or go home scenario? Come on, man. Listen, I respect whatever decision people make with their own kids. Like, all jokes aside, we'll have fun talking about this. But I tell you what, the energy that she brought, I don't care if they're not going to be caught off guard or not. You got to try it again. That's my thought on it. You got to try it again.
I think it's one of those.
If the Miami Heat are smart, though, they'd be like, listen, those seats are not for you. We don't have those seats behind the basket for you, brother. You go get these side bowl seats. That's what you go get.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. If DeMar's smart, DeMar just going to be like, you can't stop me. Like, I have money. Exactly. You know how much the Chicago Bulls are paying me to be here?
You got those seats? I'll give you $2,500 for just one of those seats. Let me get that.
I wouldn't even go behind the basket. I say throw them off, mix up her location. Go side of the court. Right on the sideline, just looking in. Hold up, mama. Although I don't know if you can yell from there, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know if you can yell from there. They do have a code of conduct. I'll tell you how we found out about the code of conduct.
Hey, shut up.
This mug.
They're not at the UC, so it don't matter.
Hey,
shut up.
It was versus Miami, too.
It was versus Miami. That is hilarious.
Bro, this mug topping his lungs out of nowhere. Hey, Jimmy, you a what? It was random. So random.
You know what's funny though is all the love that we got when people like, yeah, I was thinking it, I just didn't say it. Yeah, I'm crazy enough to say it. Don't worry about it.
Even the Miami Heat fan was like, I was like, wait a minute, hold on now. Oh man, that game was wild, but still ain't got that cooler, bro.
You still don't have the cooler?
I don't think it's coming. Hey, United, y'all retweeted me, man. Hey, can you send me a cooler, bro? The Bulls made me run,
and they still using your picture in the UC. They can't even give you. They can't even give you cooler, bro.
Somebody tweeted me and said, "Bro, the Bulls made you run suicide just for a pat on the back, bro. Come on."
That is wild.
That was a tough time, man. Get DeAndre DeRozan out there, though, man. I think anytime you get to see a kid support their pops is pretty cool. In any
awesome.
way, and she feel like she a part of the team now. She feels like, weirdly enough, right? Like, these are the stories we all hear about where it's like we rallied around that thing, that person, that child, that dog, whatever it is, like all that stuff, right? Like, these sports people are weird sometimes. And they'll like rally around. I feel like she's like the rallying cry to like the Bulls will win 3 games in Miami or in Milwaukee if they beat Miami, and be like, hey, DeAndre DeRozan got to be here forever. Now we can't get rid of DeMar. If we get rid of DeMar, can we keep DR? That's the real question. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Shout out, bro. Rick Fox is trending on social media right now
because of Spencer Dinwiddie.
Imagine waking up and being trending because of Spencer Dinwiddie.
Hey,
and his
bro,
weird
why,
beard.
why is Rick Fox catching strays, bro?
Like the 50 Cent gift. What you why? I can't say
What you
it.
say me for? Nelly, it's your verse, baby mama. Say that.
Oh man, this has been a funny show, man. Let's hope we celebrating
Oh,
the
my
dub.
God.
Pat, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I know we're not
do it.
supposed to. We don't have to. If the Bulls win, are we streaming live tonight after the game?
That'll be an interesting stream. No, you know what? I'll be good. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
Bulls dub, you guys can be locked in tonight on Locked On Bulls on the YouTube channel. But go ahead, Pat. Take us home, brother.
Hey, man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Let's hope the season don't end tonight.
Bro. Let's hope this momentum that we're going to do, the positive vibes right now around Bulls Nation. I forgot with the way the season is going. I forgot just how fun our Bulls Nation community is when we actually have some big wins, man. It's been a fun 24 hours. But yeah, man, make sure you can follow me as well at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen today. Now, for your second listen, go and check out Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls, and we out this mug. Peace out.
Peace.